Hey, viewers, George here to do an impressional talking bit on JazzPunk! I have no idea how to describe this game. It's one of the most baffling games I've ever come across. And that's a good thing because it's absolutely funny. It embellishes itself in like all this retro pop culture like references and whatnot. But it's okay, the best way to I guess I can describe it is it's kind of a adventure action game. I mean, there's no real threat. You can't technically die in the game. You can't really attack things. Some cases it has point and click elements to it where you get objects and use them, but it's in a first person perspective. It's I honestly have no idea how to describe it, but regardless, it is a very fun and very enjoyable little game. And by little I do mean it's a quick game. I mean, like, if you just kind of go from point A to point B, the game doesn't take that long to go through. It's probably one of the shortest games I can recall playing, which is unfortunate because it is a lot of fun and it's just so bizarre and so strange. But what makes the game really neat is it has all these side things that you can do along the way. Side quests, as we like to call them, I guess you could. But technically, in some cases, they're really side quests. Some of them are just like really perfectly good distractions, and like parodies of like other games. For instance, there's like a parody of Quake called Marriage Quake or something like that. And it's just like, what? It's so silly. And you go around, you play Quake, but you're using like a cake machine gun or popping champagne. It just, I guess I should describe the story. Essentially, what it happens in this game is you take on these missions in what I can only assume is supposed to be the internet or something like that, because you kind of like take a pill and you go into the simulation or something. It's really hard to describe. And you just kind of go along with it. It's sort of story driven. It sort of isn't. Like, I have no idea how to describe this game. If there's any consolation, the people who published this game, not the guys who made it, people who published it is Adult Swim. So, the kind of humor you expect from them, very bizarre kind of humor, you can very much expect it in this game because it's so much like anything that Adult Swim would do. It's an absurd game. I guess that's the best way to describe it. It's absurd, comedic, satire, parody game, with elements of a little bit of everything. It's very explorative. Like, you kind of explore your environments and you just kind of take in what the game's offering you. And that's really cool. It's a very fun little game. My only complaint is I had trouble trying to set a gamepad controller up with it, because it does work with a gamepad. I couldn't set it up with one, which is very unfortunate, but it works fine with the keyboard. Of course it does. And the other thing is it's very short. Like I said, if you go from point A to point B, you can complete this game in a few hours, not even, which is very unfortunate, because you could, I mean, like, one or two extra areas would probably make it a bit better, especially considering this game is, I think it's $10? It's either $10 or $15, I can't remember off the top of my head, but for that kind of price tag, at least a level or two more. But like I said, there is a ton of stuff in each of the areas that you can interact with, you can explore, you can do, like, there's enough to derail you from the main story plot, that it's just so crazy. And like, the humor in it is just, it's bizarrely absurd and dark, but twisted, and like, it plays on words, there's puns, it's like the ultimate mishmash of comedy I've ever seen. because it contains like just about every aspect of comedy you can think of. It is something that you have to play. It is something you have to try for yourself. That's the best way to explain it, because saying too much about it, kind of like the Stanley Parable, kind of ruins the fun of the game itself. And I guess that's all I can really say. Like, definitely play this. This is a game you have to play, and I highly recommend it. And with that all said and done, until next time, keep on gaming!